What's up, guys? Welcome to another podcast episode. We're in episode 4. My name is Anthony. It's The Good Life, your practical guide to adulting. I'm joined here by my co-hosts here, Joshi and David Hearing. I just got back from Oregon. Oregon. I took a road trip up to Washington with my sister.
Okay.
And we got back, and I have a question, because I'm wondering, right, when we got back, we just threw our luggages on the side, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys the type of people that like unpack right away, or do you guys let that luggage sit there and wait?
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
And I think simply because maybe it's more of like the type A that I have of organization skills. I'm just like, I dive straight into it. Like, I want everything to be unpacked.
You go.
And
you don't
in
even.
its right place.
Okay.
And then after all of that is done, then I can focus on like having fun. Or anything else, you know what I'm saying?
Got it, yeah.
Yeah.
So you just like tidying it up, get it out of the way.
All the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Josh?
Well, I think I would agree with you that I like to have all my stuff put away, but I feel like it entirely depends on the type of trip that I just took. So there was a time when I was, oh my God, I was 12. My family took a trip to Hawaii.
So fun.
Nice.
Which was amazing, but we came back at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And also I think I was only 12.
Okay.
So my parents were like, you gotta unpack your bag when you're ready, and I was like, that's happening 3 weeks from now. Like,
goodness.
So your parents actually taught you from a young age to
Yes.
unpack right away.
yes, they did.
Okay.
Because I feel like it's something that it's part of your reset.
Yeah.
You know, and when your bag is not unpacked, it feels like you're not able to start resetting yet. But I think it also depends on the person, because it's just annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I know people that will just like leave their bag and just wait.
It's just
let it. Like they'll live out of their suitcase for a week.
God.
No, I'm not even kidding. Not naming names, but I know.
naming names.
I
We
know
gotta call
somebody.
out these people. I'm just
I know
kidding.
somebody. Yeah.
Start going.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I just, so you said that you don't do that.
I don't.
You just
okay,
leave
yeah.
it. What was yours?
I'll unpack.
Oh, you
Like,
will unpack.
I can't do the
Okay.
whole like.
Okay.
Because the thing is, my clothes is in there. I'm a minimalist. I don't have a lot of clothes.
Right.
Oh, that's
So
true.
I have a limited amount of,
Yeah.
like everything, like underwear, t-shirts, probably TMI, like like
gotcha.
there's only a specific amount, so I need to
Yeah.
wash it
Uh-huh.
if I'm gonna wear it for that
Right.
week, So
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
just keep things simple.
Yeah. No, but it's interesting, because
Yeah.
in the times that I haven't unpacked, I've definitely been living out of my suitcase for way too long. Where it's like, should I just do laundry and then put the clothes back in the bag, you know?
Yeah. That's
but
huge.
random transition, let's get right into the topic for today.
Yeah, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about is college worth it? We got a lot of feedback from
Such
folks.
a good question.
Yeah,
Actually,
and
this was from a follower.
yes, this is
Yeah.
from a follower. Thank you for the suggestion. But I think that this is just such a relevant topic for our age. And let's get right into it. Did you have a kickoff question? I have one.
Go for it.
Okay, so
Take it away.
So did a little bit of research on this. It was really interesting. But before we get into some of the statistics, good question is, what did you really walk away with after college beyond the degree? Well, first off, maybe we should go into what degrees did we get?
Yeah.
And and maybe answer the question after that. So go ahead. You go first, Anthony.
Okay. So I went to college. I only got 1 degree.
Nice.
A little foreshadow for some of the other people on this table, but
Yeah.
I got my nursing degree.
Nice.
Just last year, BSN. So did 4 years and got my bachelor's.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it was a good time. I'll get more into it later, but I think it was, in a nutshell, to me it was worth it. It was more than just like learning the skills or like getting that paper at the end of the day. But
Okay.
yeah.
If you could go back, maybe we'll just already jump into it.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
if you could go back, would you have done the same path with the skills and the mindset?
Yes.
You would. Why?
Yeah. Confidently.
Confidently.
Wow.
But back then, did you really know what you were getting into?
Absolutely not. Like, that was not understanding.
Okay.
I thought I was just going into a well-paying job.
Okay.
As people told me, I mean, I knew it was gonna be a little hard, like nursing, whatever. Like it's a lot of studying. Okay. In high school I was a straight A student, so I was like, okay, going into this, like, I got it down, you know, like, I'm not worried about this. My high school was really competitive, and then going into like not a public, like a private college, it was a little different. Like, not everyone was like out to get you, you know, everyone like worked together. So yeah, I mean, it was definitely worth it. And then after that, like, finding a job too within a year, like, I feel like there's a big story there too that I probably will share at some point, but it was a big eye-opener for me, like how fast that was for me. And I know that's not everyone's experience with, like, after graduating with a college degree, you know. So I'm super grateful for that, how that all worked out into a well-paying job and like doing things I'm able to do now, outside of work.
Right. So it felt like it was a pretty smooth transition from you going from I'm a student to now I'm full-time work. Did you feel like the skill sets that you had and gained in nursing school translated really well to being an actual nurse, or was there sort of a rougher transition?
Dude, I think this is where it's like college, I think, can be sometimes a false advertisement. Like, it's not everything that they say it is. I think what I mean by that is that sometimes I think college is advertised as like, you go to college, you get your degree, and you are almost guaranteed a job. But that's just like not the case now. And I'm curious to bring that conversation over to David here, because I know that like with his path right now, it's like you're still trying to figure out, right? So I mean maybe you could talk about your major and like how you decided to go into that major, and maybe like what your thought process is now, because I mean you're not really like working specifically in that major, so just wondering if you could unpack that a little bit, you know?
I think so. Yeah, so the path that I had gone on was getting a bachelor's in psychology, and then I think it was around my junior year, I was like, hey, let me just pick up a minor, because I have all this extra space.
I
was like, hey, might as well.
Why not?
There's all this
time.
Not? There's all this space. Let me fill it up.
Yeah.
Because if not, there would have been just kind of blank space for my life, and there's no point. I mean, I want to fill it up with something purposeful that can actually, you know, I'm getting my BA in psych. Why not get something else along that path as well at the same time? So I also had an English minor, and that was a pretty fun process. I would say I've had and learned the most in my entire life from the English minor. The amount of history, understanding literature, and just the different perspectives that you get from this path of course, I mean, it's amazing. And now applicable to where I'm at today, yes, I'm still trying to find a job. You know, I'm still trying to navigate all the little nooks and crannies of, okay, now that I've, you know, taken this whole college experience and I've gotten now my degree, what do I do? And then if I can't do anything with it, what do I do from there?
Yeah.
You know? And it's just such an interesting process, because I also think it is one of those, like anything in life, like you're going to pour out basically effort into something, and then if it doesn't really come back to you, then maybe try putting it to something else. And so that's what I'm figuring out right now. I'm trying to understand if it's worth for me to put energy into maybe content creating more, or if that's working, you know, another job here on the side at the grocery store or something, or if that's, you know, streaming games or something. You know what it is?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. I want to kind of poke at a little bit more
go for
of the sort of the notion of there is exciting things and maybe some nerve-wracking things in your position. I think there's this freedom of, I don't really know what's going to happen going forward, but there's also the freedom of, well, maybe what could happen.
Right.
What do you feel like your perspective, your outlook on this season has on your approach and value to going forward in your life? Does that make sense?
Yes. I see every adversity as an opportunity to grow stronger than where you are today.
Yeah.
And
more.
So what doesn't kill you makes you stronger?
Absolutely. But not to take a cliche phrase. You know, I think we are given such a unique sense of personality and characteristic, and to take something so cliche, I mean, that's an honest perspective. But let's get down to the roots of it all. Like, we are trying to figure ourselves out, right?
Yeah.
And I think we discover those things, like those little cliches, like, oh yeah, life is hard no matter where you go, or salt or sweet. I don't know why that came up in my head, but I would think like we have all of these, these jingles or these things that come through our head and our minds, and we process them.
Yeah.
But it is up to us to go through that discovery process and learn so much more about ourselves so that we know, okay, this is what I'm actually learning. And I think that's the question at its basis of what we're asking ourselves today is, what did you really get out of college?
Yeah.
What was the skill set and what happened to you during your college experience so that now in today's modern time where we are at is so applicable to the next steps that you have coming forth?
Okay, so David, I have a question for you.
Yeah,
I
go
think
for it.
I think the viewers are also wondering.
Are they?
Yes, they are. They're literally shaking in their seats. Like,
Yeah. Tell me more. Yeah.
David, you aren't using your college degree right now. You didn't necessarily find a job within a year. Was college a scam? Was it a waste of time? Let me just pose that question to you, because I think people are curious, like, whether or not maybe someone is like looking to go into college right now.
Yeah.
Do you think it's worth, like, would you advise, how about that? Would you advise someone to go into college today? Like, do you think it's a good idea? Financially, like, weighing, like, how much, I know it's a big question, but I'm throwing it all on you.
Any question
on
is
the
a big
spot.
question. So I love the questions, and we're going to emphasize that plural questions that you asked me, Anthony, because the thing is, you've laid down a very big question at the table, but then you also added a lot of minor questions that can factor the way that I answer the first question.
Sure.
So to break this up and come off with the most honest answer, I think college is a good idea, but it also can be a scam. And the thing is, if you take it the wrong way, then it definitely is gonna hurt yourself, hurt your life in a way where it's not really benefiting you down the road. So financially, you could mess yourself up. You're not setting yourself up for success. It's now for failure. And what I'm starting to recognize too is, if you make the right choice and decision in anything, then you can be almost successful in what that path will bring in consequence. But the thing is, we're young, and tell me, when you were in high school as a senior, did you know that you were like not this hubris type of optimistic, wanting to change the world type of person that was like, I'm just gonna go into this career path because I think it's great? No, we don't know that.
I think the intentions were definitely transformed over time.
100%, because of the experience that was brought, right? But we don't go into something thinking, oh, I know everything about this. And even if you think you do,
right,
I mean, you're already falling short half of the game, because you have to recognize that you don't know everything in order to gain so much knowledge to progress forward. And all I'm trying to say in a nutshell is, if you're going to make a decision like going to college, make the right decision about if college is the best fit for you.
Right.
Because the way that you respond to that
Yes.
is the way that, okay, then college was a good decision for me.
Yeah.
And if you really live that on that way, okay, college will actually benefit you. But for example, if you're going to choose college and party all the time and not maximize your studying habits, be so burnt out, not understanding how to take care of yourself and your health, then it's like, I think that's where all the answers of college being a scam comes from.
Okay.
Because we take that into consideration.
Yeah.
But then let's think about all the other good things too that college brings.
Yeah.
So, you almost balance those pros and cons in the same way we've
Yeah.
talked about if you've been following us along for our journey.
No, okay, that's a really positive outlook, I think, for someone who didn't yet find his job in the specific major that you're in.
Yeah.
Turning the question over to you, Josh, you are not only a collector of one degree, but of second and maybe third, right? Technically
third.
Wow.
I've had
talk about that a little bit.
I've had a really,
like,
really, I don't know if I've told you the full story about like my college route. So I've always been pretty, I think I talked about it a lot. I don't know if I actually mentioned it explicitly, but I finished my first bachelor's. It was in education in 3 years.
Nice.
You wanted to be a teacher?
I wanted to be a teacher because
Dude, world needs teachers.
I wanted to be a teacher, and actually tried to get into nursing school right out of high school.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't get in anywhere. And so I said, well, clearly that's not the direction God wants me to go. So that's when I moved to teaching. So I wanted to come to APU. That was like my goal, and did that, and then got my education degree. And then I was also an English major-ish, because with teaching you have like a sub-specialization.
Right.
Subject.
Yeah, and so my English was like my subspecialty, so I was like kind of a English major-ish too.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, do I want to go get like my PhD in English? So I started doing an MA in English. And then I was like, yeah. And so then I was like, well, that's not going to, I tried, I was like, well, that's not going to work. And so then I said, well, I should just work to be a teacher. So then I started doing my master's in teaching. And then it was interesting because, you know, that's kind of the unfortunate part, at least in my opinion, about like education, is that you have to have a credential, which obviously makes sense, but it's always usually at the graduate level.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I was doing that route of doing the master's in teaching, and I got to my second semester. We started doing like student teaching. We were in the classroom, and you're doing grading, and you're doing unit plan, like the whole 9 yards, right? And I just kind of had this epiphany at like halfway through the semester. I said, I could do this, but it just didn't feel like all of the things that God has prepared me with to be successful, all the skills, all the perspectives, the motivation, weren't being fully utilized in teaching.
There was a detachment.
detachment.
What you were doing and where you really felt like called and fulfilled in.
Yes, exactly. There was a detachment in that, and I figured that out pretty quickly, which in retrospect I'm thankful for.
Yeah.
But in that moment, it was a similar experience where I just said, oh my God, if it's not this, then what am I gonna do? And so then at that point, I'd always wanted to be a nurse for since I was in 4th grade.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so I said, well, what if, like, is it possible to do nursing in my position? And I basically found a program that's like an accelerated nursing program, like 18 months for the BSN. And then, as Anthony kind of hinted at, it's like it's another program for a nurse practitioner after that.
Got it.
So it was a
huge
a bachelor's and your master's, but it would be my second bachelor's. And so I think the debate that I had at that point was, oh my God, is this worth it? Am I capable of? And I think that maybe that's another side of the question that you guys didn't necessarily get to was maybe it's one thing to say, is college worth it? I think the other half of that is, am I capable of it? You know,
are you capable?
Am I capable of doing the thing that I'm setting out to do? So like I have a lot of friends who are trying to get into medical school, just like, you know, right? And that is a really big question, even more so than getting in. It's am I even capable of doing it?
I think it's also committing to something that you don't even fully know
Yes.
the extent of yet.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's my point.
It's almost like you're signing up for a marathon without having ever ran one.
Yeah.
Right? like there's no
Yeah.
like the same thing. I think college is similar, where you are paying a tuition without the guarantee of a job.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee.
Right. Well, so
At all.
So that gets into I had this conversation with I had a conversation that was good.
Ooh, that was good.
Oh, chilly in here.
That was good.
That goes into the conversation. I had a really extensive conversation with my grandpa about college, specifically with nursing.
Yeah.
And he's a business guy, and so in his perspective, it's all about return on investment.
There we go.
Right?
Let's talk about it.
Which logistically can help you decide on many things.
Right. Absolutely.
But for him, with talking about nursing with me, he said the investment, is that going to be, when you come out the other end of it, are you going to look back and say, I am so glad I did this?
Yeah.
I feel like the skills, the experiences I gained, they truly invested into me in a way that I'm satisfied and happy and purposeful. You know what I mean? Yeah. And interestingly enough, at least in my experience, but then the other side of the risk, the return on investment, is the risk of what could I potentially lose by endeavoring or committing to this experience that I don't truly know what the other end of it is.
Yeah.
And so looking at my experience, and maybe this can get a little bit more depth for what we could talk about in terms of like the soft and hard skills. I am so unbelievably happy that I chose this route to do nursing, because I have I feel like in terms of my soft and hard skills, I've gained more than I could have possibly imagined.
Yeah.
In terms of, not only in terms of the hard skills, the hard and soft skills, meaning hard skills are the practical stuff.
Okay.
Like putting in IVs or caring for patients. And then
Yeah.
the soft skills is like communicating and being empathetic, right?
Right.
I've gained so much in both of those that I can't even I can't even fathom me not having right now.
Wow.
I'm so unbelievably thankful for those. And so maybe that's a question to kind of push to you guys. Yeah.
I think that is not hard for me to see, being someone that was in the nursing major. I am curious to ask you, do you feel, or maybe do you have regret over pursuing that English major before you went into nursing, rather than just, like, I guess
Just going into it right out the gate?
Why didn't you just keep trying for nursing? Like, keep going for those programs instead of, and maybe, like, touch on the idea of, like, did you regret it? And if not, then maybe what did you learn out of that experience?
That's a great question. Wow, that's a great question. I don't regret doing my first bachelor's at all.
Okay.
I learned so much. I think a lot of the skills that I learned in education prepared me to be a better nursing student.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, not only I think primarily in terms of communication was huge, and that's something that I've gotten told, not to bolster myself, but in terms of my bedside manner, that was something that came so easy to me.
It was second nature.
It was second nature because I already had those soft skills of communication from my education, of talking to kindergartners and teaching them about how the sun moves across the sky, and knowing how to interact with them versus interacting with an 8th grader versus interacting with a 12th grader.
Yeah.
You have to completely change the way that you communicate. And that was something that easily translated into nursing.
So much of that. Yeah.
And then I also think too, I think that I learned a lot about how to learn, and that's something that that is very. It might sound kind of corny, but I learned how I learn, and I also learned in learning. I guess what I'm trying to say is, in learning how other people learn, I learned how I best learn, and so I learned, how to best engage with my resources. So like the professor, and how resources are so invaluable. I learned how to study in terms of discipline and what discipline can mean, not only for the students I was teaching, but also for myself as a student too. And so there were just so many skills that I don't regret having gained from my first degree. And if I didn't have those, maybe wouldn't have prepared me to actually be successful in nursing now.
Yeah. So because you maybe went into the English degree first, that almost equipped you to go into that second major.
Yes, precisely. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
I wonder if God was in orchestrating that. Like, I wonder, like, what it would have been like if you just jumped straight into nursing.
Yeah.
Like, would you have been like, flipping all over, like, man, I don't know how to study. What do I do?
No.
Emotional breakdown, like.
And I think the second half of that is also between my first degree and my second degree, I worked for a year.
Oh, okay.
And so I think the benefit of that was I got to have some professional experience and sort of get some additional soft and hard skills that you don't get in school.
That's good.
And so the combination of both having a different degree and being able to gain those skills from that, in addition to sort of the professional experience, both I think equipped me to actually be successful in nursing. Compared to if I didn't have that, who knows? I may have not actually been able to do it.
Yeah.
I really don't believe I would have been able to do it if I didn't have the experiences I had before.
Yeah.
Not compared to you.
No, I mean, that goes to say how valuable I think every experience in our life is, going back to what you said.
100%.
But depends on how you decide to take it.
That's right.
Yeah. You can make a mistake and you can not learn anything.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, you can learn the most things from the tiniest mistakes.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Just the way that you're looking at it.
Yeah. I mean, David, are you using your psychology degree these days?
Not
like, how are you utilizing that?
I'm not using... Thank you for asking that question, Anthony. I'm not using my psychology degree right now currently in the way that people would think, like, just out of college and then you're going to go apply for a job, etc. But I am using it in the ways where I can apply it to all of the other jobs that I'm doing, and then everything that I've taken as far as the skill set and the mentality and the discipline that psychology was able to give me, like, how can I implement that into the other jobs that I'm looking at? So, for example, like, content creating is just a really big thing, you know, like wanting to edit through videos and stuff, and if you're streaming, if you're gaming, you know, that's the things that I'm kind of going in a whole roller coaster ride of, and it's so fun, but at the same time I'm trying to gauge, like, okay, how do I engage with the people that I'm coming across with, you know? How do I make chat seem a lot more, whether it's casual, professional, whatever setting that is, you know? In the same way where, Josh, you have professional experience of working, and you said you know how to talk to kindergartners because of all the experience that you're able to gain from first having it's under liberal studies, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Yes.
And, you know, and then back to Anthony, like, for nursing, I mean, you're working right now. So just imagine next year the experience of how much time you'd save on the floor for certain tasks, because you already understand, like, okay, this is like what it looks like now, you know, to kind of clock in and then just get this whole, like, you know, specific room cleaned or whatever it is, you know, that you're doing.
I think I will say that getting a nursing degree didn't necessarily equip me to be a nurse. But I think in some ways, and I think maybe this is just how society in the world works, like, it gave me the paper, the diploma, to give me access, maybe keys to that door to where I can then, you know, take my NCLEX. And then become a nurse, right? If I hadn't gone through school, and I think maybe this is the unfortunate thing about maybe college as a general, like, I think the idea of, like, oh, what it would be like if college was free, like, would that change how education is? And I'm curious, like, what your idea of also, like, how you think the education system is, or maybe we can get into that later too, but like, this idea that, like, college gives it, I think it taught me a little bit more of the soft skills, as we can kind of get into that too. It's like, it wasn't just the hard, like, giving patients shots or like taking their vitals or like getting their blood pressure or temperature. It was being able to talk to a variety of people. It was living with 4 people that I had no idea what their living habits were, and learning how to deal with someone that doesn't clean their dishes. Like, that's the real stuff that I didn't have to really deal with at home. And I think there's something really significant about, like, leaving the nest. Like, leaving from home, because you're detached from a place of comfort. When college almost kind of puts you, if you're living on campus, it kind of puts you in this place where you're a little bit uncomfortable. And sometimes that could be a really good thing.
Oh, discomfort.
I think it's only a good thing, guys. I that's my perspective on it.
Well, so I kind of want to probe a little bit more into I guess one thing that I learned a lot about in my English classes, as I'm sure you did, was worldview.
Okay, that's good.
Right? And I feel like something that I gained from, I guess, that, and I'm gonna jump back to you in a sec, is how literature, and this changed my mind about media and literature in general, is how literature gives you a worldview, a perspective from somebody at some time, fictional or real, about some idea or some theme or something like that, and that completely changed my mentality about reading, like, American literature, like poems. Oh my God, there was I'm trying to remember, there was a really short poem that we read in class that literally almost made me burst into tears.
Was it was in English?
It was from an English. American? It was from an English class. It was an American. It was. I believe it was an American poet.
Okay.
But the poem goes, baby shoes for sale, never worn.
That's like the one-liner, the 2 lines.
That's the poem.
Baby shoes for sale,
that's
never
the poem?
worn.
Never worn.
Ooh. I'm trying to think of all.
And the implication of that is that
I'm hearing you. I'm picking.
But it's a worldview of a perspective in such a short sentence, right?
Wow.
All that to say, I think that can be compared to the college experience, is that it gives you a taste, a snippet into a worldview of a job, of a field,
the real world.
The real world, you know. And so I guess my question for you, Anthony, based on that, is, when you experienced college through your nursing degree specifically, how did that experience change your outlook, worldview on life, which you kind of touched on, a little bit, but just kind of go into some more depth about that, specifically with nursing. You already talked about it with psychology.
So are you asking like how did college change my view of the world?
Yeah. So
Okay.
for example, for me, like when I was in education, it taught me a lot about how education sometimes is a deeper reflection of like children when they're in school sometimes bring a lot more baggage into the classroom than teachers might realize.
Yeah.
So when you're teaching a kid, you're not just teaching them these lessons, you're teaching them life.
Yeah.
Good.
And so that changed my perspective about education.
Oh, man. Okay.
You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
I see where you're picking. Yeah, I'm picking it up.
Yeah.
I think two things off the top of my head come up. One is the fact that not everyone loves you.
Woo! Go into that.
Could you say that one more time?
One more time for the
A
camera.
little louder.
Not everyone loves you.
What do you?
And it's so simple,
Oh,
but
okay.
you
You have a
live.
mosquito on your neck.
Oh.
Oh,
There you go. Yeah.
Um,
It was just trying to suck all that.
Yeah.
All that.
Yeah.
All that.
I'm about to save your life.
Go ahead.
No, not everyone loves you. Like
Oh,
Yeah.
I think that because growing up at home, it's a safe space.
Yeah.
You're always provided if you're in a healthy family, right?
Yeah.
If you have the privilege of being, raised in one,
Yeah.
it's such a comfortable, safe space to do the things that you want to do, right? It's like a
Right.
little sandbox, right? Like you have your little corners, and you're anywhere you go in there, it's safe. Your parents are watching, right? But you transition into the college world, all of a sudden you're doing your own laundry, you're getting your own groceries, you're
Yeah.
doing all these things. Not everyone around you is going to help you. If you don't wash your dishes in the sink, it's going to be there tomorrow
Yeah.
and the day after.
That's the worst.
And the day after that,
Yeah.
unless your roommates, are a helpful bunch, and they decide to. But I think that's the first idea, is that like realizing that I think it's part of the real world. Like it takes you have to develop kind of a thick skin.
Yeah.
Like things aren't going to be just handed to you.
Good.
And that's real life,
No.
right? Like I didn't
Yeah.
understand that until I went to college, because buying groceries, it's more than just buying groceries. It's paying for the groceries. And where does that money come from?
Right.
Well, for
Yeah.
me, I had to work for that. Like,
Yeah.
I worked for that money. I didn't get allowances in college. That's the personal decision that I decided to take.
Yeah.
So I think it's just so much, like, there's such a learning curve there too. Just with that alone, that would be one of the things.
Yeah.
The first thing.
What's the second?
The second would be related to the nursing degree. So I realize, one, that I think life is just really short. And that just being around a lot of sick people in the hospitals,
Yeah.
I think it consistently reminded me that death is not as far away as you think. Because you would see people die. And when you're young, it's almost like going back to the love aspect. Like you're kind of sheltered from that. Like your parents don't want you to. They're like, don't watch the scary movies. Like don't talk about death around kids, right? Like, there's this bubble that we have around kids, right? Like, when there's a kid around, like we're like, oh, don't cuss. Like everyone be quiet.
Yeah.
But it's just that. I think it's that idea of like life is really short and there's something precious about it, and we all have this. There's this ticking like hourglass. I feel like that's going, and we just have to learn how to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did that sort of recognition of your own mortality through seeing other patients, did that change your appreciation about your life? Was that sort of a motivating factor for you to focus on your health? Like how did that change your lifestyle as an outcome of that perspective?
Yeah, it was all of those things. I think it was everything you mentioned. It was realizing that not everyone's gonna love you, learning how to accept that,
Yeah.
being okay with not being loved by everyone, because you never will be. There's gonna be people that love you and the people that hate you. And that's just the reality of it. And
Yeah.
I think that built into into my own confidence as a person. That was so valuable, and something that I don't think I would have learned if I just stayed at home. The other part of that is like learning the preciousness of life, I think, and realizing that like taking care of health is so important. just because you have a test tomorrow, like you still need sleep, you still need to take care of those things. Like have a social life in college. You know, don't tunnel yourself and just try to get straight A's and like get your degree. Like there's so much more that college has to offer than just getting that degree at the end of those 4 years, right?
Or even getting a little bit bigger than that. Like you could think about it as life is just so much more than the sort of the tunnel vision that we can kind of make it like the day-to-day tasks. You know, where it's like you're saying how college is more experience than just exams and tests and assignments. But even that could be said for life. Because life doesn't stop once you finish college. You continue life in the form of a job, and then you continue life maybe in the form of a family or whatever that looks like. And I think it's the start of learning how to experience life more fully than just sort of the day by day, task by task. So that kind of goes. I don't mean to hop off you here, but education. I think that's another lesson I learned was that a lot of times education gets a bad rap because it's are we teaching kids just to learn, or are we teaching them life? And I think that's something that I learned from the best teachers that I was under in terms of them hosting was I want to teach these kids how to learn, not how to do just tasks. And that completely changed the way that I went about teaching, where, you know, they might be, so for example, like one of the assignments that I did was teaching them how to free write. And I remember that, you know, when they were learning, there was an assignment they had to do. It was like a 5-paragraph essay. These were like 7th, 8th graders. And they're like, I don't really know what to write next. I said, well, let's do this exercise together. Let's do this exercise. And I literally said, my prompt was, what's better, In-N-Out or Chick-fil-A? Right? Spend 3 minutes writing why you think that your choice is better. And these kids wrote 3 pages in like 2 minutes. Chick-fil-A. I would disagree. I'm just kidding.
Another hot take, guys.
No, another hot take. Unpopular opinion. We'll do a poll later. But the outcome of that was that these kids, for a moment, were able to see how their thoughts. They had a lot more free running thoughts than they realized.
Oh, that's good.
And that that was actually within their wheelhouse to be capable of that skill. But going back to in general, like that was something I learned from education was that we want to teach life, not just skills. And I've realized even more so going into college, that's just a step further. And then going into life after college, it's even a step farther than that, where it's like it's not just about, oh, I just got to get the job to get the job. I just got to get the degree to get the degree. I just got to get my license to get that job, to get that paycheck, to pay for my stuff, to then what? You know what I mean? Like there's
what's next?
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what ultimately I learned in education was that we're trying to teach them what's beyond that from the get-go.
I think what you said there is really significant. I think being aware of, I think I'm speaking from a perspective of having graduated after having a well-paying job that can support my living expenses. Reflecting off of that experience, looking back at my college experience now, I realize that if I went into college just for the money, like getting a job that pays, I don't think it was worth it.
That's so good.
But I only found that out after the fact that I went through college and got the job. Because I'm realizing now that having money, it doesn't guarantee community. It doesn't guarantee happiness. It doesn't guarantee friendships. It doesn't guarantee that you'll be, respected, loved. The things that money can't buy, the things that arguably are actually a little bit more important. And in some ways, like being in college definitely opened my eyes to that, I think. Which is an interesting, take too, seeing that.
So maybe looking back, and this is maybe hindsight. I think this is sort of a concluding remark. So looking kind of thinking back about your college experience, right? Thinking about kind of like what Anthony said is if he was to know the outcome of the experience would, like, if you knew that you were either going to have a job or not have a job, would that have changed the way that you would have gone about the experience?
Oh, that's a good question. Would you have gone to college if you knew that maybe you
knew that you would be where you are right now?
Yeah, that's good.
Was it worth it? Getting fundamentally to the point.
Yeah.
Was it worth it for you?
Yes or no?
If you're doing it here, I know, no, literally.
I know, guys. No, he said no. He said no.
Actually, no.
I'm sure the audience can understand how hard it is to say a simple yes or no answer to that, a question like that. You know what I'm saying?
David gets the hardest questions.
And that's totally fine, because I don't see them as hard questions. They're not hard questions. What it
He's
is,
like, give me a better one,
bro.
Okay,
yeah,
go,
no,
go,
actually,
go.
no, I'm just kidding. But
psychology.
if we really think about it, like, that you take a risk on anything in life, and I think Jordan, shouting out Jordan Peterson, he speaks up about this very well. Like, anything that you're gonna do, you're gonna take risk. But to focus it back to this podcast, you're asking me a question of, if I knew that I was gonna end up here unemployed, for example, and trying to figure out how to pay rent and what the next move is, would I have gone to college from the very start? Almost as like if there was a glass ball, would I have made that decision?
If you knew your future.
If I knew that I was here at this very moment, no.
Would I have a job after college?
No. If I was here at this very moment, no.
Would you have done a different major, or what would you have done differently?
Yeah, I probably would have switched different major. Probably would have actually committed to something that gave me more, I think, conviction and purpose as to how I wanted to actually like fulfill something in life. But I don't regret anything, because I'm grateful for the timeline and the story that's been written for me. And the thing is, that is the beautiful thing about life, is the fact that we can look back at all the experiences that we've gone and actually choose to make that tomorrow better and better than where we were prior and previous. Because the thing is, we're only saying this in retrospect because we have something to look back on. But the thing is, no one talks about, oh yeah, in the future, like, I'm going to be rich and I'm going to help out all of these different people. Because what if you don't become rich? Or some people don't even talk about it in the contrast of, oh yeah, I'm going to be poor so that I don't have to worry about, paying bills. Like, I can live on the streets. I have other problems to deal with, but at least I don't have all the weight of like the world on my shoulders. We don't think about the future that way, but we only work with what we know, and that's our history. That's the past. That's why literature is so powerful. And I think we miss those little nuggets every single day. And Josh, you had mentioned earlier about like trying to find the fulfillment of those big things in life, and almost as if, and forgive me, please correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I just want to understand, is you had mentioned it was like the day-to-day, the daily things that we have to do, whether that's washing dishes, with or without your roommates, if you're living with your parents, if you're living independently by yourself. We're given responsibility and these tasks to fulfill, but how best can we perform to actually do them? And then if we can't do them, then, how do we go about our lives? And I think making the most purpose and fulfillment out of those tiny little day-to-day tasks is what gives us so much more the bigger picture fulfillment of what we actually want. We want that satisfaction. We want to be happy. We want social relationship. We want community, whether that's church, whether that's school, whether that's in the workforce, wherever that is,
Well, just to kind of take a step back from that, to answer your question, and this is something that I didn't mention this. I worked in admissions, college admissions, actually, for a hot minute.
Dude,
and
what
this
did you
was
not do, man?
I was kidding.
Bring out the list, guys.
No, but to go back to your point, it's recognizing that life is a great teacher.
Absolutely.
And that college is not the only teacher to give you those lessons. But I think that if there are specific things that you feel called to do that require specialized education, and you feel that the benefits outweigh the risks, then take that jump. Take that jump, because you will find that in the risk, you'll find sometimes growth that you would never even be able to fathom if you had not taken the risk prior.
That's right.
And so that's going to look different for every person. Your journey is the listener's journey is going to look far different than what ours is going to.
100%.
But ultimately, that's a decision that you have to make given your circumstances, financially, spiritually, socially, mentally, physically, as to how they best fit you. But ultimately, that's going to have to be in consideration of everything, to your point.
I have a final question for both you guys.
Sure.
and we can maybe close off on this. I think
Yeah.
you've often heard the quote of like, if you love your job, you'll never work a day in your life. The question I have for both of you guys is, knowing what you know now about the world, that money matters, that you need to pay rent, that you need money to buy food, there's no such thing as free lunch, right?
What?
Yeah.
I had free lunch in elementary
I
school.
thought lunch was on you next week.
Yeah,
I mean, okay, but it comes out of a pretty penny.
Yeah.
Oh, right. That you worked for.
Yeah, I worked for
got
it,
it.
so
Yeah.
it still was paid.
I see.
Yeah.
Point being, do you look for a job that is well paying, or are you looking for something that brings you fulfillment, or is there a balance to that?
Can I answer first?
Go for it.
Okay. Not to cut you off.
You're good.
So I work in the ER. I think I mentioned that a couple of episodes, if you've been following continuity. And it's interesting because talking to my nursing friends who also have jobs, there's sort of this notion of like, why would you work a job in a field that is generally very difficult? And I think that the answer to that is I have found in the most real way possible that challenge and perseverance brings about growth. But it's that I would also caveat that by saying that you have to be willing to experience that challenge and continuously be challenged for that experience to actually be fulfilling and purposeful. So I go to my job and people have told me that I'm one of the only people who's actually legitimately smiling at work. Because not smiling like this is
I don't know if that's happy or sad. Like,
no, yeah, that's
like, oh man.
But more so like it's
for you, though.
less so in the sense of, I mean, there are people who are smiling at work, like my colleagues, but I genuinely always try to have as positive of an attitude as possible. And I think that attitude, again, I'm not saying that that's everybody's experience, but for me, it has completely changed the value and lessons I've gained, where I literally walk away from my job and I'm like, I'm so glad I work here. And other people are saying this is awful as a job. And I don't blame them because it's really hard. But my attitude, I think, plays a huge role in no matter what kind of experiences I'm putting myself into, how much I'm going to say I walked away growing from that, or I walked away, wow, that was hard, I didn't gain anything. Because
I think that's such a good attitude.
It's hard though.
Yes.
I won't say it's easy.
Yeah, interesting statistic, and I'll let David answer too after, is that I recently just found out, talking to another nursing friend, that most nurses only stay in bedside for like 2 to 3 years.
That's crazy.
That blew my mind the first time I heard it.
Crazy.
Right? But then that reminds me, and we talk about this idea of burnout, right, in episode 2, right? If you haven't watched that, it's a really good episode.
Plug.
Going back to this one, like this idea that there is kind of a balance. It's not just like challenge.
Yeah.
Like some people, I think, that are feeling that kind of pressure at work, eventually, as we see statistically, like they just break down after 2-3 years. Like they just can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So I think there is kind of like this, it's more than just like, okay, see everything as a learning opportunity, and that's the only one piece of advice that you need to get through life, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, there's
more nuance
I think if
to
it were that way, then there would be a lot less people, like, you know, quitting their jobs.
Yeah.
And you know,
Right.
not willing to do these
Right.
things. So
Yeah.
But to turn that question to you, David, what do you think about that, of, you know, the difference between like working towards a job that's well paying or working towards a job that brings you fulfillment? And then maybe you could just close that off there.
I would say probably a job more towards fulfillment, because that just gives you more like purpose once again for your life. So day to day, I, you know, wake up feeling like, okay, I'm gonna go to this job because I know that I am doing XYZ, and being able to tackle, like, not like a list, but almost the imbalance of emotions that you're going through, but also maybe the mentality of like wanting to accomplish things in your life.
Sure.
I think is where I'm sensing that there is more of that, let me give passion and heart into the job that I'm going to, rather than, oh yeah, I care about, this is the amount of money that I make. Because like we're talking about, at the end of the day, like, money will still be there. You know, you can choose to have it obtained in multiple, other facets or different ways. But what will not always be there so consistently compared to money is that drive, that passion, that fire that you have. In the same way, when we talk about our faith with Christ, you have that flame, and we've all experienced it, I'm sure, where it was like this little seedling, and community and church and friends and school and our teachers gave us all these wonderful, monstrous ideas for growth and challenge, and we felt on fire for the Lord. We go to all these chapel services, but it's like the day that it hits you and you're alone and you're doing 3 a.m.s for a full year back to back, and you're waking up at 5:45 a.m. every single morning to clean, 6 to 8 a.m. in the morning, and you're going to school full time as a student. You're working 3 jobs, right? I'm not calling anyone out. Who is that?
Who is that?
You know what I'm saying?
What?
So that sounds like this guy over here.
Yeah, honestly, that
and me.
Let's just say that's
sounds
all of us
super
here.
familiar.
Yeah,
because
all
we've
of us,
all
yeah.
been in those
We've all been
Bro,
those
the
Stevens.
5 a.m.
You know what I'm
grinds at the
saying?
library.
The 5 a.m.
Oh, man.
Did you
grinds.
work at the library?
Oh,
Dude, he
100%.
cleaned before he even
No
opened.
way.
man.
Oh my God!
There,
Super
like,
side note.
2 hours before.
Holy
Yeah.
cow! I worked at the library too. Did
Yeah.
you know? Oh, you knew that.
Wait,
right?
you didn't know that?
right?
Wait, dude, this is like the Spider-Man.
But no,
about
no,
that?
I know all that to say. I know what you're saying. You're going, but go back to what you're saying. Is like it's those moments, the moments when you are grinding out work and life, and it's hard, and the fire for Jesus. Keep
The
going.
fire for Jesus, and you get tackled with all of these different challenges, and where's that fire now? It's so dimmed out. The flames, like you need ignition. You need someone else to kind of give you that spark because you lost it, but you know that there's a little bit of that embering flame right there. And I think depending on what we feed ourselves, like this can be a whole nother topic, is like, like what is consumption? What do we feed into ourselves? We ask ourselves that question, right? But briefly, foreshadow, we just think about it. Answering response to the question is, once again, I think choosing a job that best fits you, where almost you don't feel like you have to get paid for it, but you feel like you're accomplishing and doing something greater in being present at that place.
Totally.
Whether that's working for a nonprofit, whether that's, volunteering, you don't have to get paid for that,
Yeah.
But when it does come to your life and job, yes, sustenance is important.
Absolutely.
I'm okay with having just enough to get by, and that can be hard, but also it's so nice to have more than enough.
Yeah.
It sucks to have less and not even sufficient. So I'm trying to stay away from that. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
good.
Totally.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll close on this one last quote that I thought of, and maybe I'll let Josh summarize.
Yeah.
Because he's good at that.
I'm
You
curious
should
out
pray
too.
us out too.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. Go ahead.
But
Yeah.
I don't know if I told you this quote before, but
Yeah.
it's this conversation between a rich man and a poor man, and the rich man is like, he's telling this poor man, he's like, I have all these things. I got the Lambo, I got the mansion, the penthouse, I got the golden doodle. I got it all. I got the 9
What's
yards.
that? Okay.
I got
You
6
need a golden
fingers, I
doodle?
got the 6 packs. I got everything.
Yeah.
And the poor man goes, he says his one sentence, and the rich man just walks away, like, just without a word, right? And what he says is, that's cool, you have all these things, but I have, and I know what is enough.
Wow.
That's good.
And he just leaves it there.
Yeah.
And it's just like, wow. Like, sometimes I think in life, this undeniable need for money, it's undeniable. We need it to pay for our rent, for our food, whatever it is, these things that we, love, our hobbies, whatever it enables us to do things, right? Money is a tool in that way. But I think where a lot of people might get it wrong is when it starts to control them and they become that tool. And so I think knowing what is enough, like you just said, like you're okay with that.
Yeah.
Like you get there and it's like, okay, that's enough. That's all I need. I don't need more than that, because that's not going to bring me more happiness.
Ooh. Oh man. So good.
Turn it over to you.
Love
Josh.
this, guys.
Take it away.
Okay. So, is college worth it? It depends. It depends on you. It depends on where you are in life. It depends on what college is going to invest into you. But some things to know from our experiences, our limited experiences, frankly, is that there's so much life to be gained, so many things to be gained beyond just the academic degree, besides just the paper. And so just be aware that college is as much of a risk as it is an investment. But if you feel that it will provide you with the skills, the needs, soft skills, hard skills, professional skills to get you to a place that you feel called to be, that will help you grow to what God is calling you to be, then take the jump. Don't be afraid of something just because it's a risk, because that's ultimately the places that we can thrive the best.
It's good.
Drop the ball there. We'll pray. Lord, you're so good. We come before you today just with open arms for whatever you have for our lives. We're not in control. For those listening, if you feel like you're in a season of life that you're just not in control, whether you are in college, whether you are post-college, whether you're thinking about college, just be encouraged that the God of the universe that created you, designed you, has a plan for you, knows what's ahead of you, whether that is college, whether that's trade school, whether that's not school at all. Just know that there's a God out there that's looking out for you, and whatever that looks like. Just continue to we just want to continue to uplift each other in this season, in the hardships and the burnout and the excitement and the transitions, that you just continue to embrace wherever we are, and just continue to be good as you've always been. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right, there you have it, episode 4.
Season 1.
Yeah, that's right.
On Is College Worth It? If you enjoyed this video, share it with a friend, like, comment, subscribe. It really does help us push the message out to other people that may also benefit from this. Thank you for listening. We appreciate you from the bottom of our hearts. And we will see you in the next one.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's go.
Let's do it.